The idea of building a transcontinental railroad was to shrink the continent and change the whole world. That single event opened California for vast expansion and social change. It began shaping America into an industrial giant, and in a strange turn of events, it led to a journey that began one of California's richest legacies. In 1852, a young lawyer and abolitionist from New York arrived by boat to the bustling Sacramento waterfront. Just after the Great Fire of 1852, he found himself rebuilding his brother's burned-out dry goods store and beginning a new life in California's capital. In the years that followed, he continued practicing law, became a justice of the California Supreme Court, and ultimately legal counsel for the Central Pacific Railroad during the historic race to connect the nation. The young lawyer was Edwin B. Crocker. His brother, Charles Crocker, one of the railroad's Big Four. But just 1 month after the driving of the Golden Spike in Promontory, Utah, Edwin suffered a paralytic stroke. For years, Judge Crocker and his wife Margaret had been developing an interest in California art. Now, after a financial windfall from the sale of their railroad holdings, the Crockers had the time and resources to build a serious art collection. Architect Seth Babson had just finished remodeling the B.F. Hastings home near the Sacramento River into the Crocker family mansion. But the space for exhibiting art was limited. So while the Crocker family traveled through Europe, Babson designed and built an adjoining structure that included a 4,400 square foot art gallery.
Can you imagine a 4,400 square foot art gallery in 1869 for just your own collection? In those times, that was enormous. Edwin and Margaret Crocker were really committed to collecting art, but even they probably had no sense of the legacy they were about to build.
2 years later, the Crockers returned from Europe with 900 paintings and 1,300 drawings, and they found their Victorian gallery ready to exhibit what had grown into the largest private art collection in the United States. When the Crockers were building their collection, they set out to collect the great works of their time. So it is understandable that the original Crocker collections left the museum with a strong European foundation.
After Edwin Crocker died in 1875, the responsibility of improving and adding to the Crocker collection really fell to Margaret Crocker. What she began to do was engage the artists of her time, the then contemporary artists of California work.
Over the next decade, Margaret nurtured the Crocker as California's art museum, making it the capital city's cultural and social center.
There are not many locations downtown where we can entertain dignitaries aside from hotels. We love to bring them to the Crocker because it has a historic perspective as well as a contemporary perspective. It has a wonderful blend of our history and our future all in one venue, which I think makes it particularly special.
In 1885, Margaret Crocker deeded the collections and gallery to the city of Sacramento. Control was vested jointly to the city and the California Museum Association. Today, the Crocker is the oldest continually operating museum west of the Mississippi. Its collections are treasured throughout the world and recognized among the finest in the western United States. The permanent collection has grown considerably from the original core collection purchased by the Crockers. The Crocker collection of today includes American masterpieces by Robert Henry and Georgia O'Keeffe, the old masters such as Rembrandt and Albrecht Dürer.
It'd be so great to be able to see a really wonderful permanent display of the drawings that we have. We need really good, clear, well-lighted spaces so that the collection can really be put out for people to see and enjoy.
The Crocker has the largest collection of California art from statehood to the present day of any museum in the United States.
The collection includes signature pieces like the Charles Knoll Gold Rush painting, Sunday Morning in the Mines, and Thomas Hill's Great Canyon of the Sierra. Over the years, with gifts and acquisitions of Persian miniatures and Indian paintings, Asian art, and international ceramics, the Crocker collection has acquired a status that overshadows its size.
It expands the entire face of the museum all the way to the freeway.
Today, existing facilities allow for the exhibition of less than 5% of the Crocker collections. In fact, during the past year, the old master drawing collection was exhibited more in Europe than at home in the Crocker. The time has come to bring the Crocker facility to fulfill its promise and bring it to world-class prominence.
I think when you add to an existing building that has a presence, which the original Crocker building does, it's a Victorian architecture, it has a style, it's acknowledged historically, is that the new building should reinforce that, enrich it, but also extend it, but not imitate it. Being seen from the bridge and being our proposed new 100,000 square foot building, it'll be a 21st century modern building which will create a dialogue and a dynamic architecturally between the history and the future.
Located at the nexus of 4 major highways, the expanded Crocker will serve as the gateway to the capital of the 5th largest economy in the world. The Crocker expansion is envisioned as a defining icon for Sacramento and California, a unique landmark that combines historical elegance with contemporary style and grace. The 3-story structure west of the main gallery will address the dramatic limitations of the existing facilities. It allows for a second courtyard, a sculpture garden, a 350-seat auditorium, cafe, a street-accessible museum store, a 12,000-foot area for collection storage, and 27,000 square feet of new gallery space.
I think the potential of this addition is huge because it's acknowledged, the site is primary, it's a crossroads, a gateway, it's a terminus, and it can reestablish a real sense of park place on the river, and the museum becomes the anchor.
For well over a century, the Crocker Art Museum has been a place where people come to celebrate creativity. Its membership has grown dramatically, now ranking among the largest in North American museums. The Crocker has continued to provide the region with a wealth of youth, family, and educational programs. But these services, along with the temporary exhibitions and the permanent collections, are all limited by the current facilities.
Already we see that this is a wonderful opportunity for Sacramento because we're right on the cusp of being something great. It's going to be an opportunity for outreach to communities that haven't had exposure to Crocker because we haven't had the capacity to bring them in and to handle that kind of a audience.
The $75 million expansion campaign is now just beginning, and already almost a quarter of the goal has been reached.
This, I foresee, will be a very unique and special place for Sacramento. And yes, I'm very happy to support this museum. I'm very proud of what they've accomplished in the past, but we haven't seen anything yet.
Clearly, the extent to which a society cultivates the arts is the measure of its enlightenment. The expansion of the Crocker is a masterpiece in the making. It will nurture the arts, encourage learning, celebrate the renewal of the human spirit, and we will be lifted up